Recording. Morning, everybody. Welcome to today's session. And I believe you're having a very warm morning in the coastal city of Mombasa. Thank you so much for making time to join us in today's workshop. And what I'm going to take you through is we're going to introduce you to the Open Research Library by Knowledge Unlatched, and also introduce you to Smart Journal Selection Strategy, and also an introduction to Dimensions. My name is Joy Owango, and I'm the Executive Director of the Training Center in Communication. We are housed and based at the University of Nairobi in the capital city in Kenya. And with us, we have speakers from Germany, Mr. Wilson D'Souza, who is going to be representing us from Knowledge Unlatched. And then we also have Miss Lee Walton, who is in the US right now. So it's 3 a.m. on her side. So we are really grateful that you could make it for today's meeting. I really appreciate it. And she'll be in the subsequent support and training. She will be coming on behalf of Mr. Wilson D'Souza's place. And Ms. Chelimo, I really thank you so much for having worked with our team in organizing this workshop. And without further ado, I would like you to introduce your speakers. Then we can also introduce our speakers. Oh, before I forget, we also have Mr. Nicholas Outa. He's TCC Africa's Research Capacity Advisor, and he's also going to be talking about dimensions. So without further ado, Ms. Chelimo, please introduce us to the leadership at Technical University of Mombasa. Then after that, I can introduce our team who will take over the session. Over to you, Ms. Chelimo.
Okay. Thank you so much, Joy. We really appreciate this partnership and this collaboration. We started this arranging this workshop some times back, and we are very happy to be here today for our staff members and postgraduate students to be trained on how we can improve our research output and visibility. So we really appreciate the TCC for coming up with this training for our staff members. So we've invited, I think, a good number of our staff and students. And before we begin, we wanted to invite our DVC, Professor Gishangi, to say a few opening remarks. We've also invited our registrar in charge of research. So without wasting much time, I will invite Dr. Saulo to say a few words. And then because of this technical hitch, I'm not sure whether the DVC is in or not. So Dr. Saulo will say a few words, and then we will also invite the DVC if he's there. And then we will take the session back to Joy to continue with the rest of the program. Thank you, our facilitators. We are ready to learn, and we are happy to be with you today.
Thank you.
Prof is in, so Dr. Saulo, you can say a few words, and then we will invite Professor Gishangi to also say a few words, and then we continue. Thank you, Joy.
Thank you so much. So, Professor, please go on video.
Thank you, Madam Chelimo. My name's Dr. Saulo, Michael Saulo. I hope you can see me now.
No, we are seeing a shadow. Maybe you close the curtain in the back.
Let me close the curtain.
Yes, because we are seeing a shadow. Not so clear. The video is not so clear.
Is it not yet clear?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, maybe it's okay if you just go on black. It's okay if it's okay. Yeah. Just go on black. It's okay. Yes.
Okay. So my name's, as I said, Dr. Saulo. I'm the registrar in charge of partnership, research, and innovation. I normally call myself a priest because I partner linkages with industries, with other institutions, and all that. But for this workshop, I first want to thank TCC Africa for accepting to train us on issues to do with improving research output and visibility. This is a very good gesture, and we don't take it for granted. So we thank you very much. As a university, research is one of our strongest arms. We are really looking at areas that how we can be able to turn our research into commercialization. That's one aspect. The other aspect is we are looking at visibility. And we're also looking at how do we really make our output tangible. And that is something that we are really working around the clock to see that every output that we have from research can be able to help the community. So I won't say much because I have my DVC here. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome our DVC Academic Research and Extension, Professor Peter Gishangi. Prof, karibu.
Asante. Thank you, Dr. Sauro. Thank you, Dr. Chirimo. Thank you, team from TCC. My name is Professor Peter Gishangi, Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Academic Affairs, Research and Extension. Before I joined TUM, I was in Chiromo campus, so I do know the location of TCC. I had not interacted with TCC when I was in Nairobi, but it's a good opportunity to interact with you now. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to discuss research output and visibility. And I take note that through this program, we are going to be able to look at dimensions as one of the tools. But I believe there are many other platforms which are out there, which in one way or another do promote research and also increase visibility. I think times are changing quite dramatically and very fast. When we were research students, you did not have to publicize your work. You just published in a peer review journal, and from there the work would propagate itself. But things have changed. Now you have to publish and promote. And this is a concept I'm coming to be in terms with, that yes, not only have you done the science and all what is required, but you must go an extra step to make sure that the work has been publicized. And I think that's where Dimensions and other platforms come in. And I also accept the fact that if people are not aware of such publication through alternative means, social media and otherwise, or unsolicited emails and postings, then good science may not be able to reach the right audience. So I think it's a change of how we do business, which ultimately I think helps to make sure that good science is reaching the intended audience. So with that, we are happy about this development, and thank you to our local team, organizing team led by Dr. Chirimo and her team, because as a university, we are not very highly ranked in terms of when you come to Webometrics and other rankings. And I think part of it is that component of visibility. So if this is going to help us to be able to address that component, then it is coming in a really timely manner, good timing, where as a university we are conscious we need to improve how visible we are and how people can appreciate that we also are doing good research despite the constraints which are there. So for me, it's here to welcome all of you to this meeting and say, yes, let's participate, let's get what we can learn from it. And I think for me the question is, and I ask my colleagues all the time, so what? So if you have learned and you're not going to put that into practice, that would be a problem. So mine is to request that we run and we put it to practice so that we can benefit from spending our time undertaking this training. So with that, I would like to officially open this workshop so that we can be able to engage with our presenters, the people who are going to take us through this workshop. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best as we engage in this workshop.
Thank you so much, Professor Gishangi. Really appreciate it. It is indeed a small world. Yeah, we remember you at Chiromo campus, and it's an honor to work with you at the Technical University of Mombasa. Right, with us is our team. So we have the team from Knowledge Unlatched who are going to introduce us to the Open Research Library. And we have Ms. Lee Walton, who is going to take us through how she works closely with Knowledge Unlatched in supporting researchers in also understanding how the Open Research Library works. We also have our research capacity advisor, Mr. Nicholas Outa, who is going to take us through dimensions. And we also have Mr. Wilson D'Souza, who is also going to take us to the Open Research Library. And in our team, who will be able to support the university out of this is Mr. Harrison Weda. He is in charge of university relations, and we've been working closely with universities on how they can improve their research visibility and increase their output. So without further ado, Ms. Lee Walton, could you just take us through what you do and how you're working closely with Knowledge Unlatched in supporting researchers in understanding how to use and access the Open Research Library.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And thank you for the warm welcome. I really appreciate it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I have been working with Knowledge Unlatched now for probably the best part of the last 2 years, starting just before COVID. Knowledge Unlatched has the capability of really helping support researchers around the world. The whole concept of opening scholarly material to researchers really drives what Knowledge Unlatched does. I won't get into it too much because Wilson, I think you are starting this process off.
All right. Would you like Wilson to take over?
Yes, please.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Wilson D'Souza. He is the regional manager for Knowledge Unlatched, and Knowledge Unlatched is the company that manages this open access library where researchers are able to index their books in this particular library, particularly focusing on the social sciences and arts and humanities. And it also indices, and it's a good thing you're based in Mombasa because Mombasa is the hub of Swahili in Kenya, and it also indices books in indigenous and national languages. So if you have any books, especially for the librarian, this would be of great interest to you. If you have any books that need to be indexed in the social sciences that have been produced by the university, can be indexed in the Open Research Library. That is number one. Then number two, they also provide this platform so that it is also a research discovery solution for those who are in the social sciences and arts and humanities. So it's also another resource that can help in improving the research discovery process for the researchers within the Technical University of Mombasa. So without further ado, I'd like Mr. Wilson D'Souza to come in and take us through how Knowledge Unlatched is supporting researchers and how you as the Technical University of Mombasa can benefit from it, and most importantly, how the library can be an active contributor to this platform as well. Over to you, Wilson.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here. Again, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Lee, special for you, especially at this time. I think that's super impressive, and we are really thankful for having you here. So let me share my screen before I start. So as Lee and Joy already mentioned to you, the main point today is to present to you the Open Research Library. That's a hosting platform for open access content. But I think that's really important before presenting to you the platform itself, to give you at least some thoughts about what is Knowledge Unlatched and what we are doing here for the last, I would say, 10 years now, almost 10 years now. So the main point today, as I mentioned, is to present the Open Research Library. And I would like to be really straightforward, showing to you the benefits for your students and teachers, the benefit for librarians, and for your researchers and academic open access publishers. So as the main point here is the visibility, I would show to you how you could index and how that could be useful, as mentioned before, to increase the visibility of your researchers. So briefly presenting Knowledge Unlatched. So what we are, I would say that, first of all, we are mainly focused on the books. Here, we have initiatives for the journals, but I would say that our flagship collections is towards the books, and definitely with emphasis on the humanities and social science. So just to give you a brief overview, what we do here, we offer to the libraries and institutions and consortia around the world a platform, a crowdfunding platform, where they can come together and share together the costs of publishing open access content. So in short, every year we have a different round where we receive the submissions of these books from different publishers, academic publishers around the world. And then we have a selection committee, and I think that's really important. This selection committee is composed of more than 200 librarians around the world that help us to choose the content for our collections. So they help us to choose the content that will be offered to the libraries around the world to finance together this content. So I think it's important to stress here that it's not us, Knowledge Unlatched, or the publishers that choose this content, but the librarians around the world. To be part of this committee, the librarians don't have to pay anything, so they are the core, I would say, of our collection. So as you can see here in the slide, our vision is really to create a sustainable market where the books and academic journals are accessible to all readers in the world. So the main point here is that when this content is financed by these libraries, or those libraries and institutions around the world, the coming year, they are published open access, front list and backlist content, and they are open access forever. That means that they won't disappear from our platform, and that you can freely access it forever. So we work, as I mentioned, since 2012, and we just not have the collections of books that the libraries can support. We also have different open access platform, for example, the Open Research Library that I mentioned to you, and we also have a free forum around OA topics, and also a payment management tool for open access agreements. I think someone is with the mic open, and yeah, there's some noise. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so every time when we talk about open access, there's a lot of philosophy behind that and a lot of goodwill behind that, but we really like to show you some practical results about what we are doing here. So the numbers of libraries that already supported us, at least in one collections, it's almost 700 now. The number of publishers that participated with us, it's more than 100. And the books unlatched, that means the books that were made open access with these libraries around the world helping us to co-finance the publication of this content. Now it's more than 3,000. And again, that means that they will be open access forever, and that the main point is that the researchers as well, they won't pay anything. We also have some initiatives, as I mentioned before, for the journals. So we have more than 50 journal flipped to open access, and the total number of usage interactions so far, it's more than 50 million. So all this content made open access via Knowledge Unlatched, they are hosted at the Open Research Library that we will present to you, and also the journals that were made open access you can access via this link that it's going to be available for you afterwards. So the content made open access via Knowledge Unlatched are not hosted just at the Open Research Library. They are also in OAPEN and other platforms, but we assume that via Open Research Library, it's really easier, as I will show to you. So to all this content made open access via Knowledge Unlatched, we offer the key features offered with this content. We make sure that they are peer-reviewed quality content that's completely free to download and to use the content. We offer to libraries MARC records to integrate this content in your library system. They're all under CC license. As I mentioned, they are hosted in the Open Research Library and also in OAPEN and JSTOR. And we also, to all the libraries that support these collections, we offer the quarterly usage reports to them, and also now a dashboard where they can check how the usage for this content are happening within their institution. So until here, I present to you how Knowledge Unlatched work in short. I know that we don't have that much time, but the main point is to present to you, how we work every year, offering these collections where the libraries can support, and then they are made open access, and then they are hosted at Open Research Library. So finally, getting to the main point. So what is the Open Research Library? The Open Research Library is planned to be a central hosting platform for open access content, but I'd like to highlight here. So far, as I present to you, we have made 3,000 books open access via Knowledge Unlatched, but in Open Research Library have not just the KU books, but also a wide range different of books from different publishers. So we are hosting not just KU books, but a lot of different books from different publishers now, almost 16,000 open access book titles. And we also have almost 15,000 chapters. And we have not just book content there, we also have posters, academic posters, and videos as well. So what are our main point here, and what is Lee helping us to do with Open Research Library? We are really trying to show to the world that this platform, it's available, it's completely free, not just to your students to access this content in a user-friendly way, but also use this platform that has been accessed all over the world, inviting your open access publishers also to host your content in the platform to show to the content of your researchers, the research of your students to a wider audience. So here the benefits for your students. So why we created the Open Research Library. Every time when we discuss with the librarians over these years, we always heard that sometimes it was really difficult to find open access content, especially for the books, because sometimes we have different platforms, different content in different places. So the main point here is to offer a kind of solution to the library community. Another point, I would say that is the strongest point of Open Research Library, is that really user-friendly. Lee will help me explain a little bit. I will show you a short video showing how this works. It's really easy, I would say, to use. Oh, sorry, it's really easy to use. So we will show to you like that strong point of the Open Research Library. So it's possible to create your own account, add notes, bookmarks. Ali will show that to you in a second. And definitely from previous conversations that I had, especially with some Brazilian libraries, as you can see, my name is Wilson de Souza, so I'm from Brazil, not that German name. So I'm Brazilian living here in Germany, and I also have conversations with the libraries in Brazil. So why they complain a lot is that sometimes they pay a lot of money to have access to some submissions or some platforms, and then their teachers recommend this content to their students, and then out of a sudden this content are just removed from their platform that they are paying a lot of money. So here your teachers can safely recommend the content hosted here because they are perpetually open access, and as an open access content they are completely free. So that's why we really would like to recommend not just to your students, but especially to your teachers to take a look at this content, and yeah, feel free to recommend the content to use in their classes. Another good point, and some questions that arose in last meetings, is that you don't need to be at the university to access the Open Research Library. You can just go to the website and access it. That means that the access is not linked to the university's IP. So now in the coming slide, it's a short video. Lee, I would be grateful if you help me to present the short video to everyone. Are you ready? Can I?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, thank you. So I will play, I will press play now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm having technical difficulties here.
No problem. Can I start again?
Yes, I think so. I'm trying to get it up on my computer.
Yeah, no problem.
And it's not cooperating with me. I do apologize. And it's really
No worries.
I've had problems with my computer, and so I'm trying to do this on my phone and I can't see. So it's
no problem. I can take over the video. It's not a problem.
Okay. Wilson, I apologize.
No problem. No problem.
Not a problem.
Okay, let me just.
I'll add my 2 cents in.
Yeah, technical issues. It's part of the show during the webinars. Okay, so what I will show to you is it's a brief presentation about how it looks like. I think it's easy when we are talking about platform. It's easier to show in a video or something like that. So as I mentioned before, you don't have to be in your university to access the content. So you can just go in the website, openresearchlibrary.org, and access it. So here you can explore and find open access books, and you can see that they are curated by collections, publishers, and provider, and more. So it's really, yeah, easy. So let's take history as an example. So if you're starting here, you will see that there are almost 2,000 items available for you. You can now narrow your searcher by language. For example, we can use all these different filters to improve your search. Here, for example, we have the language, that's a possibility, but you can choose everyone, and even your regional languages as well. So we can do the researcher by publisher. So it's really, as you can see, it's really easy. It's really close to sometimes, for example, if you have an e-reader, how to look for this content using this kind of device. So here we did the research by a publisher. The content it's gonna be shown to you. And here you can see all the details of this content, including the license type, the language, the attribution, the category, the publisher, and all the details that you may need. It's really nice that you can find the citations as well for this book. Yeah, And to read this content, it's really easy. Again, it's just by clicking in the read button. You can access this website using every device that you have access to internet, not just computers, but also cell phones and tablets. And here, I think that's one of the key points as a student. I think that could be really useful. So you have the search engine, quite easy to use. Just type the word that you were looking for. It's gonna direct you to the right point in the book to find it. But I would say that you can also share this content in your social media, and you can navigate through the page really easily. And also that's really easy for you to create your own account, to create your own notes. So it's really easy. It's just your name and email, and especially to the students, I think that the bookmarks and the notes that you can write, it's really useful. I would say that this would be one of the best options that you have using the Open Research Library. So probably based on your experiences with other open access platform, you can see that this user-friendly way of the content appear to the users are really good and easy to use. So again, the benefits for all the librarians here, it's really easy to index all this content in your library system. You can integrate all this content using your discovery system if you use one, but also you just go to the Open Research Library in the website, and you also can find the MARC records to download this content if you prefer. So you have just one single place for you to index all this content in your library system. And about interoperability, the Open Research Library supplies metadata feeds in many formats: MARC, OAE, OPDS, and then these feeds also contain links directly to the source content file for easy download. So I think that's really useful for your academic community. So in other meetings, one of the questions that arose quite frequently, it's how is Open Research Library different from other open access platforms? So the main point here is that Open Research Library is not designed to replace other open access platform, but the main point is to give libraries and scholars more options for discovering and accessing open access content. Just putting ourselves in the perspective, I would say that when it's easier to access, the probability it's bigger if you have something that offered that in an easy way. So again, we heard a lot from librarians that it's really difficult sometimes to find all this content in just one place. So we really want to offer here a better user experience for open access content. And as I showed to you, I would say that the main point here is that the main difference, I would say, is that your students can create your own account, enable them to create bookmarking and take notes and create your own list and do all these different advanced search using the platform as well. And I think that here is the most important thing for the topic today, the benefits for your researchers. So as I mentioned before, Open Research Library is being supported by libraries around the world, like the US, Australia, lots of countries in Europe as well. So this platform, it's being used all over the world. So it's quite wide audience. And I think that's really, again, we are talking here today about visibility. And what we are offering to you is a platform with a wide audience that your researchers can take advantage of, because we are not just hosting content, open access content in English. We have in different languages like Portuguese, like Spanish, and also we can host all the languages from African Union international languages. That means you definitely have to fill some of the premise to host this content in Open Research Library. The content we are talking here about scholarly monographs that went through peer review process, but if they fill all these requests, we can host this content and to offer your researchers a wide audience. So if you want to host this content with Open Research Library, please send me an email. It's wilsonknowledgeunlatched.org, and I will put you in contact with Pablo. Pablo is the one in Knowledge Unlatched responsible to take care of that process. But he will be really glad and happy to help you. And for us, it's really important to include more voices in Open Research Library, not just about content from the US or the Europe, but for us, it's really important. The more content we have there, the more important for us that is. So, sorry. So Lee, I think maybe you could help us with this topic about how to promote Open Research Library. Lee, it's responsible and the president of the Hold the Humanities newsletter. It's really important all over the world, and maybe you can help us with this topic.
Okay, thank you, Wilson. And for this, I don't need a lot of technology. So I apologize for the rough start. The outreach is critical for usage, and we're very very aware of usage and how our titles are being used. What we are showing here on the screen is that you can integrate the Open Research Library, and which of course contains all of the 3,000 plus titles from Knowledge Unlatched as well as others, on your library webpage, so that your patrons have easy access, and so that the content is discoverable. Now, we like to take it one step further, and we have promotions where we can help you with outreach to faculty, because we understand that this content is not only used for research, but in your grad students at any level in their progress are going to need to have access to this material. So outreach to faculty is important. The content can be used for course reserves. There are Knowledge Unlatched titles that faculty might want to put into course reserves. So faculty awareness is important, especially when faculty are in the process of outlining their courses and reading lists. We suggest that some of this open access content is available for course reserves. We also have the capability of helping promote subject postcards, and this can go out. When I say postcards, it's not a physical postcard, it's a digital postcard. Short list of titles that might be of interest and spark interest to your different researchers and faculty. Social media. It's a great way for faculty and student to get to know what's available in the collection. We ourselves are on different social media platforms. We highly recommend push out to the community, and we can help you with that. Also, if you have a blog or newsletter, it's an excellent communication tool. We can also create a book of the day or topic of the month, so that you can push that out to your patrons, or we can help you do that. National and international days are great opportunities to showcase different titles. There's a hashtag Friday Reads. Your library can regularly bring attention to specific titles that are in the Knowledge Unlatched platform, and we can help you with that. The last thing on the list is the Oh, the Humanities newsletter. Now, I am with the Third Chapter Project, which is a nonprofit focusing on facilitating content coming in and out of Africa. So pushing humanities in different ways, promoting humanities in different ways is my focus. So we created something that is actually in 30 different countries, and currently we have a following of 20,000 librarians and faculty and publishers. It's focused on humanities and humanities issues. It's a very topical, newsy type of publication, but we are also in the process of creating Oh, the Humanities Africa. So it will be focused specifically on your needs. And that's something that we can help you, researchers, librarians, faculty, promote your content. So back over to you, Wilson, and thank you.
Wilson, you're on mute.
Sorry. So again, thank you, Lee. I said that with the mic off. Sorry. So here you can easily find in our YouTube page some extra material, like frequently asked question. It's really, especially with our business model, sometimes it's really confusing the way that we work, at least in the first approach. So we have a short video presenting how we work in this frequently asked questions. You can access that. More information about the KU selection committee. As I mentioned before, it's really important to us to have more voices in our selection committee. The round of the selection process just finished some days ago, and we will announce our coming collections actually, we already announced our collections last week, sorry. But in the next year, we would welcome all your librarians to participate in the selection process. You can check how it works. It's really short video as well. And we also have some content, some videos explaining a little bit more about the Open Research Library. But if any of you here need a one-to-one meeting presenting in more details how the Open Research Library works, me or Lee together, we would be really happy to present to you and to give you more details about it and how to take advantage of that. So we really want you to take advantage of this platform, not just your students accessing this content, but again, talking about visibility. If you would be interested in hosting content in Open Research Library, please be in touch with us. And remember that all this content it's available there, it's available perpetually. So your teachers can recommend the content without any issues in the future about this content being removed from there. So if you have any questions, please just send me an email. I would be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Again, I would like to thank you, Joy, for connecting us with this great community. We are definitely really glad to be part of this presentation. And respectfully, I say thank you to all of you to hear us this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Wilson and the Knowledge Unlatched team. In essence, I was getting messages in the DM and they were asking, why are we having something on arts and humanities and some of us are in engineering? What we have to do is balance the kind of resources that are necessary, that are required within the university, because within the university, you do have researchers who are in the arts and humanities and social sciences. And to be honest, they are the ones who have suffered the most because of either limited access to resources, and also in the case of the library, challenges on where they can index some of their outputs. And this is the power of Knowledge Unlatched. So Ms. Chelimo, in essence, what we are saying is that you have a platform that we've introduced you to for your arts and humanities researchers and the social sciences researchers, where they can have access to all the books that they can use. And most importantly, for the university, and this is also for the Deputy Vice Chancellor, there's also a platform here where you can index all monographs that are produced by the university, and also all the books that you'll be producing at the university. You can have them indexed in this platform as well. And what Wilson said is that they accept books in all the African Union languages, and since Swahili is also one of the African Union languages, if you have books also in Swahili other than English that have been produced by the academic community, please have them indexed in there. Our next speaker is TCC Africa's Research Capacity Advisor, and what we are going to talk about is journal selection strategy and introducing dimensions, which is it's a research discovery multidisciplinary discovery solution that you can use to support, to help improve your research output and increase your visibility. Now, in this case, to answer everyone's question, this one is also, it also has information on various subject areas beyond social sciences and arts and humanities, and it will be relevant for you. So this one will be focusing on journal selection strategy. The other one was targeting the library and also the Deputy Vice Chancellor's office and anyone among you who is producing books to know that there is a platform that you can use to index your books, but most importantly, use it also for research discovery, especially if you're in the social sciences and arts and humanities. Over to you, Nicholas, and take us through the introduction to dimensions.
Thank you so much, Joy, and thank you everyone for this wonderful opportunity to speak on this. I think we all have to agree that, you know, however much you do, even as a university, you could be doing some groundbreaking research. And I know Technical University of Mombasa is being a technical university. I know you are doing innovations, you are doing very wonderful work. But if no one is seeing them out there, if no one is seeing what you are doing, then it's very hard for you to convince people how important your work is, because somebody will be like, we cannot access it, we cannot see, we cannot read what you are doing. So whatever you are doing stays within the confines of your university, or they stay within the confines of the computers of the various researchers who are doing this work. And, you know, so you could be doing a lot of work, but if your work is not discoverable, or if it is not visible out there, then people will not really see the impact of your work. So how then do we make our work visible? And how do we make not only the work, but also as a researcher, you also need visibility as a researcher. So if your work is visible, then it also makes you visible. So TCC trains, supports, and empowers not only researchers, but also institutions and universities like Technical University of Mombasa on how to make their output visible, and also how to discover output of other researchers. So we know the constraints that are there. And thank you, Wilson and Lee for the Open Unlatched, the Knowledge Unlatched team for this. I think the challenge that most universities and most research institutions have is accessibility, or access to materials, or access to information. So sometimes you go through certain websites and you find very good information, but you cannot access it because it's hidden behind some paywall, and you cannot, maybe you are not subscribed to it, or it's too expensive for you to access. So it's a good thing that we keep having this conversation about what are the open access or open science solutions that we can use in our societies or in our universities to make our work discoverable, and also to make to also discover other people's work. Because when people graduate, they are given the power to read and write all that pertains to their degree. At least that's what I hear the vice chancellors and the chancellors say. It means, therefore, that for you to write, you should be able to read. But for you to be able to read, you can only read what is accessible. So how then do we access these things, and also how then do we make our work discoverable? For that reason, today I will talk about open journal selection strategies, because we need to publish, and where do we publish? How do we know where to publish? But most importantly, I will introduce one powerful platform called Dimensions that will help you make your work discoverable and visible, but it will also help you know a lot about what is going on in the scientific world. So it will help you know what patents are out there, policy briefs, policy documents, clinical trials, for example. What patents are out there? How can you also use this platform to get literature that you can use to also write your own research? So I'll talk about the journal selection strategy, not in too much details. I think you can always reach out to TCC for more detailed and more robust conversation about journal selection strategy. But today, I will talk more. I will focus more on dimensions, and I will demonstrate how we can get to this. So my first part of presentation will be just on how open access solutions that you can have to make your work visible, and also how can you select the best journal to publish your work. And then I will spend the better part of my presentation demonstrating on how you can take advantage of dimensions to make your work discoverable, and also to discover other people's works. Thank you. So if you allow me, let me start my presentation right away. Are you able to see my screen? Maybe if one person can confirm.
No, maybe if you could go
okay,
on black.
Okay, sorry. No, I think I just did not share it yet. I will share it now.
Yes, we can see it coming up.
Okay, so Joy had introduced me. I am a research capacity advisor. I started at TCC as a trainee, and then I became a trainer. Now I'm a research capacity advisor. I've just completed my PhD in Kimasena. I'm just waiting coronation. So very soon I'll have the title doctor. I'm also at the head of submissions and moderation at Africa Archive, which I'll talk about also briefly, because it's also one open access platform. And I'm also a mentor at Aid Africa. But I've also, through the support of TCC, I've also been able to start writing Hub Africa, which also does the same. So I think let's get into this. You want to publish your work, because for it to be visible, and for it to be discoverable, and for people to see, and for it to make impact, you've discovered something as an engineer, and you've designed something that is very powerful. Where do you start from? Where do you begin if you want to make your work discoverable and visible? I think I'm not going to talk too much about this. These are part of what TCC does on an everyday basis. So you can always reach out to TCC and you will get more on this. But H-index is just your power or your influence in your field as a researcher, and it's field specific. So there's a lot that goes into the calculation of your H-index as a researcher. I'm not going to talk about that so much. Some of the platforms that can give the examples of that can give you a measure of your H-index are like Google Scholar. So this is my Google Scholar handle that I'm just using to showcase. So if you are here and you don't have a Google Scholar account, kindly go and create one. I sometimes when I give talks, I make an assumption that all researchers are on these platforms. It's good to be out there, because this increases your visibility. If somebody is searching for some content on Google Scholar and you have an account on Google Scholar, and all your work is collated and pulled into Google Scholar, there are chances they will discover your work. There are chances they will read your work. There are chances they will cite your work, and this will go into your H-index. So create one. ResearchGate is also a platform that can also help you increase your visibility. When the professor started, he started by saying that during their days, you just focus on doing research and publishing good work. But right now, the world is changing, and we after even publishing it, you need to package it and put it out there. Talk about it, not into too much details, but try to put it in places where it can attract attention, and people can read and cite it. This is also on ResearchGate. I think there's researcher ID. You can also create researcher ID that helps you identify you as a researcher. When you go on the internet, just Google this. I'm not spending too much time on this one. ORCID, Open Researcher and Contributor ID. I think most researchers that are here, and if you're not here, if you're here and you don't have an ORCID ID, kindly go and create one. It's free. So what does this do? ORCID ID identifies you as a researcher. You know that on the internet, when you download a paper, it has a DOI, which is Digital Object Identifier, which is a unique identifier and a persistent identifier for any document on the internet. Especially for the scientific work. But this one is your unique identifier as an individual researcher, and also institutions could have theirs. So what happens is, if tomorrow someone with the same name publishes a paper that maybe in your field, and they claim that that paper is there. If you publish a paper and somebody in your field also maybe who has the same name claims ownership of the content you published, you can easily, the journal will always tell you, hey, can you supply the ORCID ID that you used when submitting this manuscript? And once you submit that, you're the only one with that unique ID. So and also this is like your CV on the internet. The example I'm giving right here is the one for our director at TCC, Joyo Wango. So it gives an idea of so many things of what you've done, and just basically it's your CV on the internet. So you don't need to send your CV. You can either just send somebody your ORCID ID and they will find whatever is here. The other thing is, ORCID disambiguates your names. So you could publish a paper with the name Nicholas Outa Otieno, another one is Otieno Outa Nicholas, another one is Nicholas Outa Otieno, depending on what the journal requires for you to write your name. So if you have an ORCID ID, the ORCID will now put all those names under one identity, and then now you have just one identity. What then happens when you become a reviewer? Because I know the professors here, the doctors here, and the scholars that are present here are reviewers in some journals, and you get approached to review for certain journals. What happens? Because for a long time, review work has been voluntary, and even now it's still voluntary. TCC, together with several other partners, have been conducting, in fact, it's still an ongoing project that we are training open reviewers in Africa. And we've realized that sometimes even for me, when you are approached for review, you realize, maybe I'm not going to get much of a lot from this, so I'll just decline it. But review helps to polish science, so it's a contribution to science. So Pablo also decided that instead of just reviewing for free, we can give you credit for reviewing. So what happens these days is, if you review, or if a journal approaches you to review for them, go and check if they are listed with Pablons, and then if they are listed there, review and then submit. Pablons will automatically capture that, and then it will go into your H index. So it gives you are given credit for not only just for publishing, but also for polishing science by reviewing it. So this is one platform you can always go and create a journal, an account on. This is just an example of what it looks like. This is my example, the example of my platform. So far I have done 11 reviews that are recognized by Pablons, and I've gotten credit for that. So just go and create an account on Pablons. And also I also got recognized for reviewing some. So this is just a certificate that I got as a recognition. Now, we have citation databases. Some of them are under paywall, some of them are open access. I will dwell on open access, and mostly I'll talk about dimensions that I told you. This is open access. So we know that people have been complaining that I know some of them are very expensive for us to access and stuff. We know all about Web of Science. We all know about Scopus. We all know about Science Direct. But you go here and you find that some of the papers you need are behind paywall. So sometimes it becomes very hard for you to access. But also one of the questions I ask myself is, why should work that is funded by public funds be hidden behind paywall? I give you money, you are given money to do research. I know it's a debate that can take a long time, but you are given money to do research that is, maybe you are funded by an organization, but ultimately, once you get the results of this, you publish it and it is hidden behind a paywall and you have to pay for you to access this. It beats logic. Then why were you funding me? Why was I even funded if this work cannot be accessed? or if it can be accessed only by a few people who are privileged. That's why we need open access solutions like Dimensions and also open research library that gives you access to some of this. I know some of them are negotiated, that, they negotiate to make it accessible. But if we have open access solutions, it's fine. So Dimensions, the lens.org, Microsoft Academic, these are open access. And there are so many others like open knowledge maps. Those are, if you reach out to TCC, you will be guided on how to use most of this. As I say, the main subject today is Dimensions. That's why I'm not dwelling so much on this. I'm just, just teasing them so that you can always reach out to TCC as a university, and you will get the chance to be explained to so many of these other things. We also have bibliographic databases. So we have African journals online. So AJOL, I think we know all this. Directory of Open Access Journals. So the DOAJ is a database that collects open access journals. So if you go there, you are sure that whatever you'll find here is open access. Core, there's also Directory of Open Access Books. And then there's Meta. So these are just some of the places you can always find some of these things. I talked about preprints. So these are online archives or repositories. I know some of us know what these preprints are, of works or data associated with various scholarly papers, not yet peer-reviewed or accepted by traditional academic journals. This is what happens. You have done some good research, you have developed some manuscript, and you think, okay, this is good enough. Maybe I might need to just do a few things here and there, but I think as it is, it can now be shared with the world and they can now start looking at it. So you say, what do I do? Where am I going to publish this work? So as you still think of where to publish your work in a conventional journal, you can put it in a preprint repository like Africa Archive that I will talk about. And then because Africa Archive also is a partner with TCC Africa. Actually, TCC Africa were the partners that started, during the inception of this whole idea. So TCC has been there. So you can archive your papers with the Africa Archive as you wait to publish it in a conventional journal. So I'll not talk about those others so much. So what is a preprint? I think I've explained this. This is a scholarly manuscript posted by the author or the authors in an openly accessible platform, usually before or in parallel with the peer review process. We know that the peer review process takes a long time. Sometimes it goes for years or even 2 years, sometimes 6 months, or it's because there's a lot of back and forth. You are asked questions by reviewers, you have to answer them and then address. So it takes a bit of time. But imagine this work can already be visible out there and people can start downloading and citing it and also just giving you feedback openly that can help you now improve the work before you submit it to a conventional journal. So this preprints also give you credit. So they help, they make citable preprints allow authors to establish priority for the work they have done by providing a public record already. Visibility, preprints like Africa Archive is open access. So people can easily access your work and start citing it. Also, the review is open, so people can already start asking you questions about your work when it's on Africa Archive as a preprint, and then you can help. It can go into improving your work. This is the Africa Archive platform. You can always check it later. It's not the subject of discussion today, so there's no problem. You can also you can even reach out to TCC Africa later. And then if as a university, for example, because most universities, I know Technical University have their own local repository where they archive their manuscripts, they archive their thesis for the students, PhD and masters, and even postdoc, and some research materials are also archived there. But Africa Archive can also have arrangements for you to also archive your work. So reach out to TCC, they can help you with the arrangement. This is an example of a manuscript that I submitted several years, in 2019, in September 2019, and it was published, and it has, if you check on my Google Scholar that I showed you, you can always see that it has almost 6 citations already. So people have downloaded and people have already cited it. Now, we are here at the journal selection strategy. You have now your work and you say, where do I publish this work? How do I decide on the journal where to publish it? Because that the problem with predatory publishing has always been there. There are predatory journals out there that will always, you submit your paper and they accept it the same day without review. So you ask yourself, okay, I never knew I am this smart that when I write a paper, nobody asks a question about it and it just gets accepted as it is. So you ask yourself, okay, so am I that smart? And even with the smartest person, you will always expect somebody to ask you questions, and also just throw in their ideas on, maybe can you improve this? Can you do this? Ask you questions. Can you clarify on this? Or you can submit your paper and then it disappears. Yeah, people disappear with your paper and they don't contact you. They just go and keep quiet, and you ask yourself what happened. So how then do we mitigate, or how then do we identify the journals publishing, and how do we mitigate predatory publishing? There are several strategies, but one of the most, I'm not going to talk about so many things. One of the other things that we always encourage at TCC, and this is one thing we always talk about, is this is also one site that can also help you, is think, check, submit on this platform. It's a free, you just go and type think, check, submit on Google or on any search engine. You will find, it will guide you on what questions do you need to ask yourself, and what do you need to check out about a journal for you to decide whether it's legit or not. And then after that, you can decide whether to submit or not. So there are a few questions, and also there are lists of journals where you can check whether the journal you want to publish in is also listed. If it's not, then you can now start asking a few questions here and there. TCC on the TCC website also there is there is a resource under resource category, so you can have journal. There is also journal selection strategy, and so when you go to the website, you can easily find it under resources. Under resource category, you can always find the journal selection strategy, and you can learn more here. And what other options are there for you to help you increase your visibility, or to help you mitigate predatory publishing. I'll not talk up now. This is where I want to demonstrate a few things, and then we will go straight into dimensions. Almost most of these big journals, most of the journals these days have journal finders that guide you on how to find the best journal for them. Not for them, but how to find. Publishers have, maybe you can find publishers that have different journals under their name. So like Elsevier, for example, they have journal finders. So when you go on the internet, you just type the word journal finder, and then you will find options on which journal finder to use. So if you excuse me, I'll stop sharing this, and then I'll just show you something for 1 minute, and then we will go back there. I'll just show you how to, I don't know whether my screen is visible. I just want to demonstrate this in a minute before we go on to dimensions. So if my voice is visible, just go on.
Yeah, you can continue. You can see your screen. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So when you want when you are not very sure on where to publish your paper, just go on the internet and type journal finder. When you click enter, you will find the different publishers. So you have journal finder for Elsevier, you have Wiley journal finder, you have Springer, Taylor and Francis. So let's say you want to publish in Elsevier. So you just come and pick the first option here, and let's see what comes up. So once you pick the first option, it will you will find the options on how to find the journal that best suits your work out of this place. So let's say when you come here, it will just prompt you to copy and paste the title of your paper here, copy and paste the abstract here, copy and paste the keywords here, and then you can now refine by just selecting the research field, so that just to refine the search. And then when you click find journals, it will be active, of course, when you input all the rubrics. When you click find journals, it will take you to the possible journals based on the AI rubrics. It will take you through. It will suggest for you the journals that best suit your work, and then you can now be able to find which one. So you can just click and then go to the journal website and just check through the scope and all these things. And then, so what I want to bring home is journal finders will help you get legit journals, because if it is a platform that Elsevier is using, for example, you cannot tell me that Elsevier will identify for you a predatory journal. It cannot. So take advantage of this and use journal finders to get your journals where to publish. The other thing is also my EndNote Web. You can always also just use my EndNote web to. I know some of you are also using EndNote as a citation tool that you use for as a reference manager and for citation. So there's my EndNote web. You can also just go and search and see whether this can also help you select the right journal for your publication. With that, I will now, if you allow me, go into introducing dimensions, because that is what I really want to demonstrate today, because it is one of the tools one of the solutions I want to showcase today and how you can use it to increase visibility and also to know what is out there in the scholarly world and also in your world. So Joy, if you can confirm, I want to go into dimensions. I hope up to there, if there is more that somebody wants to get, they can always reach out to TCC directly, because that's why we are here. We are always here to support, train, and empower. So if there's any support that is needed regarding what I've talked about, because I say today's dimension, so I was not talking too much into this. This was just to build a case. So you can always reach out to TCC directly, or just to, and you will always get more on this. There's a lot that is not talked about here today. So if you allow me, I'll go into dimensions, and
Super.
I'll start sharing my screen. So I will.
As you're preparing,
so when talking,
as you're preparing to get into dimensions, there are questions that are coming in for for Mr. D'Souza. Have you seen them?
Yes, I have the question here for everyone to know. What measures have you put in place to ensure that all research work and publisher are safe from hackers and spams? So as I mentioned before, we have one person within Knowledge Unlatched responsible to do all this process and to avoid this kind of thing. So we have Pablo, who is in charge, and he's the specialist within the team to check everything before to host this content in Open Research Library.
Okay. Yes. So for everyone else, please continue sending in your questions. We will we'll be answering them either in the chat or we'll be pausing to answer them. Mr. Uta, you can take over and continue with sharing dimensions. Are you online?
Yes, I am. I am online. Is my screen the one on Google, right? I just want to confirm.
No. And share. Just unshare and then share again. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So I want to start by showing, because sometimes you assume, and so I want to start from the very, very first beginning.
Good.
Thank you so much. As I said, that you have the power. So for you, most of our work as researchers and even as innovators because Technical University, I know, has a lot of innovations, and there are some people who also want to develop things into patents and stuff. We base most of our ideas on other people's ideas. So sometimes, of course, it could be a completely new idea that you've come up with, but along the way, when you are developing this idea, you need to read, you need to check out there what is available, what is there, what is here, what is there. And you can only do this if you have reliable platforms where you can ask, you can go and search for these things. So I want to show you what we call dimensions. So how do we get to dimensions? I will give you two ways. One is the free way that will give you very little access. There's a few things you cannot access with the first way that I'm going to show you. And then I'll show you the better way, because you are based in a university. We are talking about Technical University of Mombasa, not any other university. Technical University of Mombasa, I know you can now be able to access Research for Life. So that is the other option that I'll give you. But I want to give you the first option. Like if you want to go, if you are going out there and sharing with your colleagues and they might not be able to access it through whatever I'm going to show, how then can they just even the basics? So just go on the internet and type dimensions.ai. Dimensions.ai. Once you type dimensions.ai, it's still loading. No, sorry, that is not what I want. Sorry. Dimensions. This is what I want. So when you type dimensions.ai or dimensions AI, this is what will come up. I hope everyone is seeing my screen. Then you click that first option. Once you click on that first option, this is where it will take you. It's still loading. So when you click on that first option, when you type dimensions.ai or dimensions AI, this is where it will take you. Once it brings you here, how do you move from here? So dimensions has brought you here. I'm just trying something. If you see me, like I'm looking down on my screen, I'm just checking on something so that I'm sure it is the right one. Okay, so once you are here with dimensions, this is what you will do. Once you are here, this is the first option I told you, which is a bit limited. You can just go to access free web app. On the right, on the bottom right, you can see access free web app. That is where my cursor is. When you click on access free web app, this is where it takes you. So I want to show you how to navigate through dimensions. Now, this is the first option. This is just how you access it on the internet. Now, this option, the problem with this option is the limitations that it has. One is, through this option, you can only access publications. That is why you can only see only publications are active. Of course, you can still use it for your literature search. So for students and the scholars who are here and researchers, this option is still viable because you can still use it to access publications that you can read, you can cite. But you cannot, through this option, you cannot access, also data sets you can access through this option. But you cannot access grants. So you cannot know what grants are there in your field, what grants are there within which countries, and how much they are, and which ones are active, and which ones have stopped running. You cannot access what patents are there. Because, for example, as an innovator at Technical University, as an engineer or an innovator of some technology, you want to, develop your own patents, and you really want to compare. There would be a point you would want to see, okay, is there a patent like this one already existing out there, or it is not there? So with this platform, with this free one, you cannot be able to access that. Clinical trials, for example, you cannot also be able to access policy documents. You will just appreciate the fact that they exist, but you will not be able to access them. So how then can you access in fact, all of those that I've talked about? You can only access them if you access dimensions through Research for Life. Now, Research for Life, I think most universities, if the librarians are here, they will. The university has its own login details. So Research for Life is it has databases. So the different ones you can see already. I don't know whether that is where I am, but I'll just share. Let me just share again my screen to be sure.
You're in Research for Life.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had. So when you get through Research for Life, with your login details, the librarian, I think, at the university should be able to provide login details, because each university has its own unique login details. The librarian, if you contact your librarian, they will be able to provide you the login details for your specific university, so that as a researcher, you can, using those login details, you can access this content wherever you are once you have the details for the university. So if you don't have them yet, kindly go and talk to your librarian. They will be able to give you access to this. Once you are here and you log in, you will always just access. Once you log in, you will go under content after you've logged in through Research for Life. Once you are on the Research for Life page, you will go under content. Let me just demonstrate again. There are 3 lines on the top right. In fact, if you hover the cursor there, it says Site Menu. Click on the Site Menu. There are under content. There are so many of them. You have journals, you have books, we have reference resources. But today, I want us to go under databases, because Dimensions is a database. So let's click on databases and see where it takes us. So it's still taking me through the login stuff, but there's no problem about that. Once you click that, it will take you directly to Dimensions, because under databases, you will go down to Dimensions. And then once you come to Dimensions, you can now see that here the publications are active, datasets are active, grants are active, patents are active, clinical trials are active, and policy documents are active. So when you go through Research for Life and you go to databases and click on Dimensions, you are now able to access all these You are able to access publications, you are able to access databases, data sets, you are able to access grants, you are able to access patents, you are able to access clinical trials, and you are able to access policy documents. Up to there, I think we are fine. Then, now that you are here, how then do you use this? Because even if you get to this point and you don't know how to use it, or it's not clear on how you can take advantage of this, then it's still not very useful. I want to show you how this can be used. And I want to demonstrate just a bit on how. So I want to first start by showing you the filters that are here. Because what happens is there are some databases where you go there and when you put certain keywords, so for example, you can put a certain title words that you want to search, and then you find so many hits and you don't know where to start from because it's not refined. Here, let's say you want to find, because some lecturers will tell you, I'm speaking on behalf of the students that are here. I'm not talking bad of the lecturers, but lecturers will always insist that if you are researching and if you're writing a document for me, let's say a proposal or a thesis or a manuscript, I want you to start. I want to only cite work that is like 5 years old. We want recent information. So what you can do is, one of the filters that is also very powerful is years. So you can filter by years. I want us to start by looking at the publications. On this site, you have 127 million publications. Even before we filter, we must agree that in your field, whatever you are doing, because this is multidisciplinary, whatever you are doing, you cannot miss at least a paper or something that is useful. Among the 127 million papers, you will find something even before you start filtering. Now let's start filtering. Let's say you only want works that have been done. In fact, we already have 2023, we have 2022, we have 2021. Let's say you want works that have been cited, that have been published between 2020 and today. What you will do, once you click the years that you want, you just come and I'll just remove this. Okay. You just come and limit to. I hope you can see my screen. So we've clicked 2020 and above. So 2020, 2021, 2022, and I've seen 2023. So when you limit to those, we only have 15 million publications that were published between 2020 to 2023. We have 15 million publications. So if you want most recent data, you already have it. So you can now do other searches, but you have limited it to 2022, 2020 and above. Now, before we even get there, I was almost forgetting about something. I want to show you that I want to show you how far back these dates go. Imagine you can get papers as far back as 1950. By 1950, you can find 237 papers or scholarly materials or something published around 1950. So if you want to do literature search, and if you want to do literature review or meta-analysis in a certain field, imagine you can go as far back as 1964, as far back as 1950, 1950s. Or, this database has so much. So you can go very far. You can go back. You can say that I want only to review literature that was done in the 1970s. So you can just limit it to 1970s and search for literature within your field within the 1970s and see, okay, so this is what was done in 1970s. And then you can now keep playing around with the years as a filter and then find how powerful this is. That is just the first filter, which is that is by year. Apart from that, you can go by another one is researcher, but this one I'll go into the, but I want just the filters that are here. I started by showing you one of the filters is year. You can filter by active year. So active year, this one will go about grants. I'll show you how you can look at the grants. So for grants, you can see the grants that are there, and then you see which years were they active. Are they still active, or did they end between this which year to which year? You can look at the grant status. Is it still active or did it stop? You can also filter by researcher in a specific university. So Technical University of Mombasa, you can even search by researcher and see which researcher from which university and from which country have done what. You can research you can filter by funder. Who is funding work in your field and who is funding work in which country and how much are they giving and what projects are they funding currently? Research organization. For example, Technical University of Mombasa. This one I'm going here straight away. Let's start by research organization. So let's say we want to see something that is associated with Technical University of Mombasa. But before we come here, I think it would be fair if we start by country / territory. So let's start by Kenya. Let's just start by you. After clicking on country or territory, this arrow will point down, and then just go and click under more, then put the word Kenya there. Let me just put it well. When you type the word Kenya, it should be able to give you, so just click on Kenya and then limit to. So it will limit to Kenya alone. So whatever it's now going to show us is only something related to Kenya. Nothing, no any other territory, no any other university, no any other country. Now, if we put our filter as Kenya, we have 62,000 publications, we have 6,000 data sets, we have 2,000 grants, we have 1,000 plus patents, we have 755 clinical trials, and we have 4,019 policy documents. Our filter at this point is Kenya alone, territory. Now, I want us to go and filter, we just leave Kenya, and then we also filter by research organization. Now, it also lists them by which university, or sometimes you also get to the university of other collaborators, the universities you collaborate with that are also doing something that in collaboration with universities in Kenya or research institutions in Kenya. But let's just say, after that you come to more, and then let's just see what is coming from Technical University of Mombasa. Technical University of Mombasa, it's here. I've found Technical University of Mombasa, and then I will limit to Technical University of Mombasa. Now, I have two filters now, as you can see. My first filter is country. My second filter is Technical University of Mombasa. Okay? Now, from the Technical University of Mombasa...
Mr. Uta?
Sorry?
Mr. Uta?
Yes.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Just click on publications, because the information is just showing on grants. On the publications, you'll be able to see more information. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
I just noted.
Oh, it was on grants.
Yeah, then you end up seeing more information
Okay.
coming out of the university. Yes. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Now, from the Technical University of Mombasa, if we come from the Technical University of Mombasa, we can see we have 226 publications. I'm not saying, and this site, Dimensions is not saying that these are all the publications that have come from the University of Mombasa. This is what happens. Based on AI and different algorithms, the Dimensions collects and it takes metadata from different repositories and from different databases and from different websites and places where these works are, these publications, data sets and grants, where they are. Now, sometimes when we publish, and sometimes we publish even in papers in areas that do not have DOI, and we have papers that do not have DOI. They could be the grey publications. I'm not saying they're not right. Grey publications are there, and they have very good information. There could be reports, there could be technical reports or other technical papers, but maybe they have not been pulled into Dimensions. And also, Dimensions, they keep updating these things all the time. So we cannot say that this is all that has come from. But I was just demonstrating to you so that you can see how powerful this tool is in trying to demonstrate. So you can see the publications on the right. You can see the number of citations, 2,000, 2K is 2,000. Now, what I want us to also see from the Technical University of Mombasa, I want us to now, after filtering by country and filtering by the university, I want us to filter by researcher. Now, this researcher, when you click on researcher, it will also just bring researchers from Technical University of Mombasa. I want at least one person to tell me if they know any of the researchers here. And also, it also brings the researchers that have collaborated with your researchers from your university. I want maybe just one person or two to confirm to me if they have seen any name they know, because there is more, so we can still scroll more. It lists it in order of who has the highest number of publications, for example, from Technical University of Mombasa. Who wants to confirm, maybe just one person to confirm, if they see a name that is familiar from that university, or is this from somewhere else? Maybe. I just want to be sure. Anyone among us here? Do you see anybody from your university that you can recognize, a name you recognize?
Yeah, I can see Michael Juma Saulo.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a colleague here.
Yeah, he's among us, Prof. So because Dr. Saulo, Dr. Saulo is with us, I will use him as an example. I'm sorry for this, but I'll use him as an example. So I will click on his name so that we can also see, what are the things, what are the information we can get. So I'll just click on his name and then I limit to that, and then we will see what comes up. Just let's give it time to load. We will see once we click on the researcher, we are now focusing on Michael Juma Saulo from Kenya, from the Technical University of Mombasa. We want to see under his name. I'm not saying that whatever is going to be displayed here is all he has ever done. No, I'm not saying that by any means. I am saying that this is what has been captured by Dimensions. I want also to bring it to your attention that just the power of this. It's not like any other system. It's not like it can capture everything under the sun. I know there is a lot that has been done by this researcher that maybe might have fallen through the cracks, but at least we are all at a point where we can be able to appreciate. Now, whatever is available here is 14 publications from this researcher. I know some of they have also collaborated, and you can easily see they have collaborated with other people. They have collaborated with, you can see the people they have also collaborated with, but I want to focus on him here. If you see on the right, top right, on the bottom right, we can see there are 28 citations from his work that have also been captured by this platform, and we see that these are people they have collaborated with. Also, so it also shows the contribution by the other works by other people they have collaborated with, and so this is why how powerful this is, because you can now filter by university, you can filter by researcher, you can filter by country. Now, I want to remove one filter. I want to remove Michael Juma Saulo as a filter so that we have a bit more, so that I can demonstrate something else. From here, when we have our filters as Kenya and Technical University of Mombasa alone, we can see we have 226 publications, we have 76 data sets, and we have one grant. Now, that is, I'm not saying that is the only grant that is at the University of Technical University of Mombasa. I know there are also currently research that is going on. This is what I want to advise at a very personal level. What happens is sometimes when we publish research, we don't write the granting organization, and sometimes we don't even write the grant number. I've seen it when I publish with some of I work in certain projects. Like right now, we are implementing like 3 projects, and I know Technical University knows about KSAP, Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project. I'm part of it. In fact, I am the one managing all the logistics in the field. When you publish under acknowledgement, you should say this work was funded by this project, and then you can put the grant number, because with that metadata, Dimensions is able now to pull it out when you publish your paper. It's very easy for it to pull out that and put it there, because now the grant information is very clear. But if the grant information is not clear, if you just say it was funded by KSAP, Dimensions does not know how to put that, because it does not have an idea of what that is. But if you put the grant number, it's very easy for Dimensions to track that. So henceforth, as a researcher, if your work is funded by a project, if your work is funded by any organization, put it there and put the grant number, because grant numbers are always there. When you put the grant number, Dimensions will be able to find it. Now, how is that useful? These funders will go and will also filter by funder. These funders check through what is the outreach of their work. So I've given you 1, 2 research. Is anybody interacting with your work? Is anybody seeing your work? How will they be able to see? They also like it when they come to these databases and see that their project was captured somewhere as they were captured somewhere as funders of certain research. That is the only way they feel useful, and that's the only way they feel that whatever they did did some impact. Now, I also want to bring about, I think it was also talked about to some extent, that social media is also a powerful platform to enhance visibility of your work. So always be tweeting about your work, always be doing, writing just some things about your work as an individual researcher, but I can also encourage universities like Technical University. Try to also, if you have, because I know you have Twitter account, for example, you have Facebook account, you have whatever it is, be putting part of it, maybe not into too much details, but you can put a sneak peek of what you are working on currently. If it is some very useful, if you are doing some research and there are some very exciting information or some exciting results that you found, just copy it and paste it somewhere on your website, and then put a link to that full paper so that somebody who is interested can read the sneak peek, and then they can click on that, and then they can easily go and find your publication or find whatever it is, if it's a patent or a policy document, because social media is now becoming mainstream media. So even if one person sees it, that's what it is. So because I'm talking about social media, because altimetrics is also very important. I want to give you an example of with a paper that is talking about altimetrics, and I will use this paper that was done by Seeing Bodies in Social Sciences Research, Body Mapping and Violent Extremism in Kenya. I know this is from a researcher at the Technical University of Mombasa. That's why I want to use it. I will click on this paper, but I will not click. I will click on the altimetrics of this paper. The paper is Seeing Bodies in Social Sciences Research. So let me click on altimetrics, and we will see what it will show you. And funders see these things. Don't think they don't see them. So I'll use this specific one. I might not, when you find a paper on dimensions, just click on altimetrics, it will show you. This paper has been tweeted by so many people. You see, these are the people who have tweeted this paper. So this is what has been used to calculate the altimetrics that is here. So don't think that putting your work on social media is not worth your time. You see, how many people? So this person alone, this Center for Global Security Challenge, tweeted this work that was done by Technical University of Mombasa. You might not know how far-reaching this paper was. Imagine, Center for Global Security Challenges tweeted this work, and they have 1,271 followers. Anybody that wants to fund you will look at this. About a War tweeted this work, Performing Violence Engineering Challenge, and okay, that name is a bit hard. But you see, all the people who have tweeted your work, it could have been on Facebook, it could have been on whatever place. So try also to use social media to communicate part of your work. Not too much details, but you can just be, just people so that they can see what is going on out there. Now, I will remove, let me just still maintain Kenya and Technical University, and then I will now use funder as a filter. We want to see who is funding work at the University of, at Technical University. So we have National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, National Center for Advanced Translational Sciences. So these are the funders that are funding work, that are funding research at the Technical University of Mombasa. So that is part of how powerful this work is, this platform is. The other thing I want to talk about is you can also filter by research category. So field of research. For example, let me just go back and now remove all these other two filters. I've removed Kenya, and I've also removed Technical University of Mombasa. But at a glance, you can see Technical University of Mombasa at a glance. I wanted you to see it as a glance. At a glance, what is here? So at Technical University, as a filter, we have 226 publications on dimensions, 76 datasets, and also we have one grant. As I say, this is not to say that this is the only thing that is there. This is just part of what is here. So what is captured here. You see, some of these universities are the universities you collaborated with. So there's no problem. So your universities, your researchers are collaborating with so many. Kenya Marine, we see Masinde Muliro, we see University of Nairobi. I don't know whether you also partner with my university. I'm curious. I think it's just out of curiosity. We also have to see whether we partner. Maybe if I limit to, then it will bring it. But yeah, it's here. We also partner. No, we've not partnered with you recently. At least not one that is captured on dimensions. But you see all these universities you've partnered with. So it's like you partnered with University of Nairobi on at least 40 projects or 40 publications. Kenyatta University, Stanford University, Kenya Medical Research Institute, JKUAT, Ghent University, Kenya Marine and Fisheries. So these are the universities you've partnered with and research institutions, of course, you've partnered with, or your researchers have partnered with them. That's how powerful this platform is. I want to bring to your attention, I want to now remove the filters for university and also the filters for Kenya, and I want to bring it to the attention of a researcher who is on this site and they're looking for people to partner with. And one of the other things I want to bring to attention just before I get there is under grants. So for example, under grants, because you want to find which grants are available. So we can now say we want to see which grants, because for researchers, I think one of the most important things, and for researchers and for universities, we want to see, are there grants out there? Who is funding these grants? So what we can do, let's say within Kenya, we can now start, we can just filter by country and say, we want to see within Kenya, when you click on that, Kenya, and then limit to Kenya, we see that within Kenya, there are 2,500 grants that are there. And then we want to see who is funding research in Kenya mostly. Wellcome Trust has funded almost 3,000. National Institute of Allergy and something. So you see who is funding research in Kenya, and then we can now decide. I want to find research within specific research categories. So let's say as a researcher, we can just see under field of research. So what is your field of research? Let's say you are in the field of let's say public health as an example, or let's say engineering. So engineering, we want to see, we limit it to engineering. So we say, who is funding work in Kenya in the field of engineering? In the field of engineering in Kenya, we have 2,000 publications, but we are now focusing on grants. We have 41 grants. Let's click on those grants and see where are they and who is funding them. We see that of the 41 grants that we have in Kenya here, then we can now come and click on funder and see of the 41, European Commission is funding 14. There are 14 grants from European Union, funded by European Union. We have Engineering and the Physical Sciences Research Council that is also funding, that is also has provided grants. Let's give an example of one that is running right now. This one that has started 2021 to 2025. This one, Energy Access and Green Transition Collaboratively Demonstrating in Urban. Let's just click on that and see what this project is about. When you click on that grant, you will see the research organization is, there are so many, so I think there are 28. So these are collaboration letters. So it's a collaborative research. There's an abstract about the research, so it gives you an abstract about that research. But the details, the funding is $12.2 million US. The funding period is 2021 to 2025. The research category is engineering, environmental engineering. So it also gives you which sustainable development goals it is addressing, affordable and clean energy, and also climate action. But you can see similar grants. So you can see there are grants that are similar to it. So what you can do is click on these grants and see which one is ongoing. And then you can, within that, you can, let's say, we want to see this one is similar to it. Let's just click on the similar grant and see who is there. You might end up finding somebody you know or a university you know, and you can reach out to them and tell them, hey, we see you are already working on a research, because if you approach them with exact information, they will be surprised. They will be like, okay, so you know about this. So if you ask them for collaboration, they will say, yeah, you are somebody who is interested in us because you already know even the project. Because from here, you will read the abstract. And then you go and see who are the investigators. You see the PI here is Christine Boch from this institution. So you can easily just map it out through these collaborations, and just back and forth, and you can easily find somebody to collaborate with. I think with that, I don't want to go into too much of this. I've demonstrated how powerful this is, and I've taken quite a bit of time. I know when questions come in, we will be able to answer them with alongside Joy from TCC, who is also here because she also understands this. But today I was here to showcase, and you can always reach out to TCC Africa. They will guide you on how you can now collaborate and work with dimensions, and to make your work discoverable, and also to make your work more powerful. Joy, take it away, please.
Thank you. Just leave your screen on and leave it to the publications page. So now, in order for you to also understand how this platform is powerful, and we are getting into the question and answer session, we can put in a subject. Just go to the homepage. Yes, yeah. You just put a subject, Any subject, so we can put a keyword, and this is why the power of the platform is very powerful for your research discovery. So Outa, please put in malaria. So when you put in a subject area, you can get a global search, and then you can narrow down by country, which would vary, as you know, when Outa was telling you about the importance of how far data goes, because this database has data going back to the 1600s, and you can see the top researchers. And when you go down, the data goes back to 1698, just on malaria. And then you can see the top researchers. You can filter down by the top researchers in malaria. You can narrow down by country. Please close on the publication years. You can narrow down by country. You can narrow down by funders, the research institutes in that research area, the research categories, which Outa was taking you through. The research categories gives you the multidisciplinary approach on your research search. So that is, so you can look at malaria in various categories. And then you can search by source title. As you can see, these are the various categories. And remember, on the left-hand side, it shows you the top 10. But if you go on the right-hand side, okay, you see, this is on genetics. So this is malaria in genetics. So, and then you can still further narrow down as per your research area. So remove genetics. When you see analytical views, sorry. Okay, just go back to malaria. On the analytical views, it gives you more options beyond what you're seeing on the left-hand side, which has just the top 10. So the analytical views gives you top 100, top 500 if you want. Scroll down. And then you can also use this platform. Remember in the beginning, Outa was taking you through the general selection strategy. You click on source title. When you click on source title, you are going to get journals that have published work on malaria. So if you narrow down malaria in Kenya, you'll find researchers who published on work on research in malaria in Kenya. And those are the source titles. Remember, go on the analytical views on the right-hand side, you can get top 500 journals. Go scroll down further. And the final bit that you need to know is that this platform also gives you, it's just like what we are taking you through with the Knowledge Unlatched. It's open access. So it also shows you if you want to get open access articles or not. So it means that even when you're going through your methodology, when you're writing your literature, when you're going through your methodology of writing your paper, you can say, yes, I only chose open access articles. Now, this is what we were introducing you to. Thank you, you may unshare. And the reason why we are taking you through this entire process is that you know there are resources that you can use to improve your research discovery, increase your research visibility. With Knowledge Unlatched, with the Open Research Library, it is to support all of you within the university who are in the social sciences and arts and humanities, especially those of you who are producing books. Okay, because it indices books and monographs. So in this case, the best person you will need to work with closely is the librarian, because this will come through the library and then it's indexed. And then also, Knowledge Unlatched also works with the libraries in helping them in selecting books that are relevant for the university. So it's a two-way support system. Okay, so we had to start at the senior level, then we had to go at the researchers level. Now the dimensions is at the researchers and the discoveries, is the researchers level and also at the discovery level. So you see, these are two platforms that are really important to support you in your research discovery and research visibility. Ms. Chelimo, one of the ways you can make it easy for the researchers to access these solutions is embedding the Open Research Library in the library so that they can easily access it, and also dimensions in the library so that they can easily access it. So that, you know, the challenge of trying to figure out how do I access some of these solutions, it is solved by easy access under your open access solutions. Mr. D'Souza is on hand to help you, Ms. Chelimo, on how you can join their selection committee. It means that you become an active member in choosing the books that are relevant for your university. You know, that has always been a big problem for most universities, because you just get in bulk. Yeah, so he'll be able to guide you in that process. So feel free to send him an email right now or change contacts right now. And now we have questions. We had already answered some questions we already got some questions from for Knowledge Unlatched, and I'm seeing questions for Dimensions. How does Dimensions database compare to PubMed? PubMed is purely for medical and biomedical sciences. Dimensions is completely multidisciplinary, and PubMed is already indexed in Dimensions. Somebody was asking, why are we seeing less data? A few things which Mr. Uta talked about. And the first thing he talked about is that most of the data in our libraries do not have digital object identifiers. Now, let me narrow that further. Dimensions is indexing data with information with metadata with DOIs from Crossref and data sets and data with DOIs from DataCite. Now, this is changing because for the longest time, Crossref was the oldest and only provider of digital object identifiers, but these are in the pipeline to accommodate various organizations that are providing DOIs. That's why we are seeing less. But nonetheless, let me be very critical. The fact that your data is pushed within the open access database, it means that your visibility is also increased. Let's see. What else? What other question? Okay. So Ms. Chelimo has confirmed she's going to share with you all the Research for Life details so that you can easily access Dimensions, but also she will be embedding Dimensions onto the library so that it is easy for you to access. This is purely for ease for somebody who is getting into the library. And then there's a question about using journal finders. What is the guarantee that these sites are safe for research works? Calvin, journal finders are AIs embedded within publishers' platforms. So each and every publisher have their own journal finder. So when you're going to a journal finder, you will see it is connected to its publisher. So that's why, like when Mr. Uta started, he said, okay, there's one for Wiley, there's one for Elsevier, you know, so they're normally connected. There's one for Taylor and Francis. So it is up to you if you prefer working with particular publishers. So it is to also make your life easy when you're choosing journals within those publishers, among those, the portfolio of those publishers. Okay, I think, Wilson, you answered about the issue of research work and hackers on the security aspect. Okay. All right. So what other questions do you have for Knowledge Unlatched? Remember, at some point, you'll all be writing books. And you'll need a platform to have those books indexed. And this is a platform that is already, and it's open access, and it's provided, and it's free of charge for you to index your books. So what questions will you have? Or monographs in the case of the library. What other questions do you have? Is everything in order?
Joy, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
What about the content that we already have in our institutional repository, like journal articles done by staff members? Can it also be indexed in the Knowledge Unlatched database, or it is only books?
Wilson?
Yeah, that's a good question. So far we just index monographs and books, not journals. So yeah.
So if you have monographs, and I'm sure you have some monographs and some books, bring them on, they will be indexed. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Joy, it answers the question. And as you've said, we will include these databases in our list of resources on our website, so that our researchers are able to find them easily. And also the credentials for Research for Life, I will share them.
Fantastic. Now, Eric, this is a very good question. It means that you have a bit of understanding on scientometrics. So does this include indexing from Web of Science, Scopus, Pablons, ORCID, etc.? Now let's start with Web of Science and Scopus. Now, Web of Science and Scopus are paywalled databases, and they have less data than Dimensions. Actually, a paper that was recently published by PLOS. PLOS is the world's leading open access journal. Published in PLOS, they found out that Dimensions has the largest number of articles as compared to Web of Science and Scopus. So it has actually it came in, it's 10 years old, it has come in and surpassed the mark. It has 127 million records, Scopus has 97 million, and Web of Science has about 90 million records. And also another thing that Dimensions has, other than the fact that it is free and the others you have to pay for, they have more data from the Global South, which has always been a big challenge when it comes to presenting, to sharing information on data on the Global South. Yeah, so this is why you see us strategically working with partners from the Global North who are keen on increasing the visibility on data from the Global South, including also Knowledge Unlatched in this case. So this is, you can access the paper here for more information. Then Pablons and ORCID. I've broken your question in 2 bits. Pablons is a platform purely for peer review. So it's not a database, it's a platform purely for peer review and identifying peer reviewers. Okay, of which Mr. Outa shared with you. ORCID is an identifier which helps aggregate your research output. Okay, and the thing is, ORCID is embedded within Dimensions as well. So if you have an ORCID ID, it is also easy to pull out your data. So we are talking about metadata. So make sure you have ORCID IDs as well. How does Dimension compare to Google Scholar in terms of metrics, publication metrics? It's first of all, Google Scholar have always had a challenge in sharing the methodologies on how they collate their data and how they measure the performance, the metrics within their platform, especially to scientometric researchers. So that is why people have been very wary of it. So what Dimensions has done is that its metrics are being used even for training in scientometrics research, which is extremely important. And that should give you some sense of calmness, because as a librarian, you also study bibliometrics, which is essential in understanding the performance of research output. So in terms of comparison, it is much better. It has more options, and it is cleaner in the sense that with Google Scholar, there's always the challenge of what guarantee is this citation based on whether somebody clicked on the link or actually read it. Dimensions actually gives you a citation history and analysis from when it was clicked to when it was cited. So that is, so when you're looking at the citation analysis on any search that you have, it gives you a history from when it was clicked and when it was cited, who cited it and how many times it was cited. So the comparison is cleaner and easier, especially when you want to get results on the performance on research papers or journals or institutes or even countries. That's a very good question, Wanyenda. It will come in very handy, especially when you're tasked by the Vice Chancellor or DVC on how to measure the performance of your institute. You really need a data that gives you clean data. How does Dimensions deal with predatory journals? Okay, so Dimensions, all the platforms that are indexed within Dimensions are like the third tier of cross-checking the journals before they are indexed. Remember, Dimensions pulls out data from journals that are already indexed. So it will pull out data from PubMed, Medline, for those who are in the biomedical research areas. It will pull out data from African Journals Online, and these are already indexed journals for African researchers, Director of Open Access Journals. So it will pull out that data, and these journals already follow the journal publishing and practicing standards so that with the sole purpose of mitigating predatory journals. So there are no predatory journals within Dimensions. So they already work with journals that are already indexed by databases, bibliographic databases. Yeah. Any other question? Have I answered your questions? Wilson, how does Knowledge Unlatched work with ORCID? Because the issue of ORCID has come in, and I'm sure it will be very important for those who are submitting books.
Yeah, I have to check that with Pablo, and I can go back with you with this answer. I have to check the technical points of it.
Yes, especially for the integration, that would be relevant. Yeah. Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So I think on the to-do list, Ms. Chelimo, you can connect with Wilson, And on our part, we are more than happy to support you post this workshop. You're going to get the copy of this recording, and you're going to get a copy of this recording as well. Eric, so Dimensions does not include publications with paywalls. No, it does. It does include journals that have paywalls, and that is why within one of the filters, when Outa was taking you through Dimensions, was the aspect of open access. Okay, so you can choose journals or publications that are open access or the ones with paywalls. Remember, the issue of paywall is at the discretion of the publisher, not Dimensions. Dimensions is an aggregator of data. Yeah. So in this case, Research for Life, I don't understand your question, Eric. Because also Research for Life includes publications that have paywalls. So unfortunately, you know, it's always at the discretion of the publisher. So we make sure it is accessible so that you can have further access. But then what Dimensions has done has gone one step ahead further and divided those that are open access and those that have paywall, so that it's for you to choose which one you want to work with. Have I answered that question? I hope I've answered the question, Eric. So, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. You have access to our emails. I thank you so much for having made time for being with us. And without any, and if there are no any other questions, you're wondering about TOOM. Okay, before I wind out. Okay, you're wondering, the reason why you're not seeing a lot of output from TOOM, Technical University of Mombasa, is because not all your data have digital object identifiers. Okay, not all your data have digital object identifiers. That is number one. That is the biggest challenge. Number two, not all of you are acknowledging Technical University of Mombasa as a research organization. Some of you are acknowledging your partner institutions, but you're not acknowledging Technical University of Mombasa. Number three, another thing that we are noticing is that most databases today, citation databases, are only indexing data with digital object identifiers from Crossref and DataCite. Okay, but this is slowly changing because there are more organizations providing digital object identifiers. All right, so if you have data, the data you're seeing, the 266 are data that have, if you look at them, they have DOIs, and they're DOIs from Crossref. That is point number one. And number two, you'll also notice that they have acknowledged the university. So what that means is that it's on the owners. This is why we have the library here, and we also have the director of research, because it is, you have to acknowledge your university. If you don't acknowledge your university, when this is being harvested, remember this is machine learning, it just doesn't pick it up. It just doesn't pick it up. It's not because it's a paywall. It just doesn't pick it up. Yeah. So that is one of the challenges, but the part of it is on your part. And then the other bit is that also databases are now accommodating other DOIs which are being provided. Yeah, but the onus is really on the university to use digital object identity, assign digital object identifiers, but also for researchers to acknowledge the university that they are working in. I hope I've answered your question, Eric. Okay, right. Mr. D'Souza, please share your email. Fantastic. So this is to Chelimo. Let me send you the email address. Chelimo.
Yes, Joy.
I'm trying to see Chilimo. Oh, it's Chilimo.
It is, yeah, it's Chilimo.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. And please reach out to to Mr. D'Souza.
Okay. Okay, it's there. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sharing it with everyone as well for anyone who'd need it. There we go. So thank you so much, Dr. Chilimo. I really appreciate your time. I hope this has been helpful. We are going to appreciate when we see the Open Research Library on your, and Dimensions on your library, so that it's easy for the researchers to access it. You liaise directly with Mr. D'Souza. He will guide you on how you can have all your books and monographs indexed within. All right. And most importantly, you will work with him to see how you can join their selection committee so that you can choose the books that are relevant to you. Yes.
Thank you so much, Joy. We really appreciate.
You're most welcome.
We also want to appreciate the facilitators, Mr. De Souza and Nicholas, and also Dee Walton. We really appreciate. And also, let me take this opportunity also to thank our staff members and postgraduate students who took their time to attend this training. The attendance was good, so we really appreciate, and thank you so much.
Oh.
I don't know whether Dr. Saulo will want to say something, or even Professor Gishangi.
For me, it's just to say thank you once again. It was a very, very stimulating training and valuable to us. There are many things that we have learned that is going to take us actually to another level. That issue of visibility has been a big problem to us as a university, and now it has been opened to us. We can be able to know exactly what to do, especially to be able to enhance the visibility of the university, the visibility of the individual researchers. So this was grateful, and we are very thankful. I don't know whether Prof is still around to say something.
I am here. Certainly, I'm here. I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof.
So I've listened to the entire presentation. And just to note, I've just registered for to join Dimension. So I've just confirmed my registration status. Yes, so thank you, TCC team and all the presenters for this presentation. Unfortunately, only about 30 or so of our staff are present, but I'm hoping that librarian, you'll be able to circulate this information to all our staff so they can be able to have access. And for those of us there are many meetings going on at the university right now. And because of that, we may not have had a full house because of the fact that we are divided between many meetings. But thank you very much, team, for this support. We appreciate. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, I think the paradigm shift has occurred, and we will now take initiatives to make sure that we promote and make sure that our things are in social media, to make sure that automatic measures and others are reflective. And we see then with those efforts, how far we can improve our visibility. So thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.